By the hoary host of Hogoth, we just got our first look at Doctor Strange on Jimmy Kimmel, and I gotta say, it looks cumber brilliant. I mean, at least it looked more awesome than those set photos snapped on the streets of Manhattan, where the good doctor seemed to be skipping down the city streets like a little lad who loves berries and cream. But apart from these brief glimpses and a name drop in Captain America the Winter Soldier, not many people know who Marvel's Sorcerer Supreme really is. So today on the Dan Cave, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about Doctor Strange. Created in 1963 by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, the same dynamic duo I might add that created Spider-Man just a year prior, Doctor Strange made his weird, wild debut in the aptly titled Strange Tales number 110. In addition to having a medical degree, the good doctor is also the Sorcerer Supreme, a title conferred to the most powerful practitioner of the mystic arts in a given dimension. But he wasn't always the cloak-clad, astral-projecting master of magic we know and love. Back in 1930, he was just the wee baby Strange, born to Eugene and Beverly Strange, who were vacationing in Philadelphia, getting some cheesesteaks and parking their cars in the middle of the street, and whatever else Philly folks do. I don't know, you guys are weird. At age 8, he was the victim of demonic attacks from the neophyte sorcerer Carl Mordo, who was jealous that Strange would one day become Sorcerer Supreme, but what did he know? He was just a baby. Thankfully, Mordo was stopped by his master, the Ancient One, but more on them in just a moment. By age 30, Strange had become one of the most talented neurosurgeons alive, fabulously wealthy, and a total asshole. Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, come on. Actually, it is bad, because this jerk would routinely refuse patients if their checkbooks weren't fat enough. But what goes around comes around, and a few years later, Strange was involved in a terrible car accident that destroyed the nerves in his hands, which, in case you don't know, are pretty essential to performing surgery. It's all in the hands. Too vain to take another job, even as an assistant, and unable to work as a surgeon on his own, Strange exhausted his fortune searching for a cure for his condition. Pawning the last of his possessions, he journeyed to Tibet, seeking a mystic known as the Ancient One. Though Strange managed to find the Ancient One, he didn't find the cure he wanted. Rather, the Ancient One offered to tutor him in the mystical arts. And it's like, look, you already journeyed to Tibet, you're lost in the mountains, you may as well learn some magic while you're there. I mean, come on. While training at the Ancient One's temple, Strange came into contact with the apprentice Baron Mordo. Remember the guy who sent demons after him? Basically, this guy is the Salieri to Strange's Mozart. And later that night, Strange discovered Mordo conjuring up a horde of skeletons to attack the Ancient One. You know, that old chestnut. That jealous, skeleton-conjuring chestnut. It's a bad chestnut. In a heretofore unseen moment of altruism, though, Strange attempted to stop Mordo, but the bad old Baron hexed him with a magically summoned piece of metal covering his mouth. Thankfully, the Ancient One appeared in the nick of time, put a stop to Mordo's plans, and told Strange that he had unwittingly passed the Ancient One's test to see whether or not he would make a suitable successor for the role of Sorcerer Supreme. Nailed it, Steve-O. Unfortunately for Strange, this was far from the last time he'd encounter Mordo. The two, as I mentioned, would become lifelong adversaries like myself and Los Angeles parking enforcement officers. There was 1 minute left on the meter. Are you kidding me? It wasn't labeled anywhere. You guys are the worst. Unless someone skeletons to go after you. After training in the mystic arts with the Ancient One, Doctor Strange took his talents back to New York, baby. Among said talents were the power of teleportation, a cloak of levitation that allowed him to fly, the ability to astrally project himself, and he had command over all manner of magical artifacts like the Wand of Watum, the Eye of Agamotto, and many more incredibly powerful, increasingly unpronounceable bits of esoterica. But I digress. Now wiser, more selfless, and ready to be a hero, Doctor Strange set up shop in Greenwich Village in the Sanctum Sanctorum, a magical townhouse where he lived with his manservant Wong. Yikes. Manservant? Sounds pretty out of date. Can we just call him like a mystic intern or something? Anyway, Doctor Strange quickly became an essential part of New York City's superhero community, helping the likes of Spider-Man and Thor, as well as starting a supergroup all his own called the Defenders alongside the Hulk, Prince Namor, and later the Silver Surfer. Damn, that is a stacked lineup. Now, I know you were probably expecting me to say Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, but it's a different time, man. Come on. And speaking of different times, when this comic came out during the 1960s and early 70s, Greenwich Village was home to the beat and hippie movement. It was full of these sort of far-out, acid-fried characters. This groovy countercultural sensibility was reflected in the pages of Doctor Strange, especially by Steve Ditko's mind-melting artwork, which sometimes made you feel like you took acid without having to listen to 14 hours straight of the Grateful Dead, which for that, I thank you. Over the years, Strange clashed with all manner of mystical menaces, including Eternity, who is the literal embodiment of existence as we know it, Shumagoroth, a tentacled nightmare beast that looks like H.P. Lovecraft wrote hentai. This creature is so foul and so messed up, he actually forced Strange to murder the Ancient One, which did make Stephen the new Sorcerer Supreme, but probably in a less than savory way. I mean, you want to earn that, not by murdering your mentor. Jesus. But perhaps the greatest Doctor Strange foe of all was the dread Dormammu, a flame-headed god tyrant of a realm called the Dark Dimension, who wanted nothing more than to invade Earth and enslave humanity. While he's a real pain in the ass and a literal monster, he did have a niece named Clea, who became the love of Strange's life. It's just like they say, every demonic horror cloud has a silver lining. Or a hot niece. 2 other quick fun facts about the Good Doctor. He has conquered the aging process. Doctors hate him. Find out his one secret. He's not immortal per se, but he's damn close. Also, he's in the Illuminati. No, seriously, the Illuminati. Along with Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, Black Bolt, Namor, and Black Panther, he's part of a secret cabal that made some of the craziest, most controversial, and covert decisions the Marvel Universe has ever seen. Case in point, they shot the Hulk into space. As for what we'll see in the movie version, Benedict Cumberbatch's butt. Wait, what? No, sorry. Guys, we're probably gonna get a little bit of the Doctor Strange Baron Mordo rivalry, although something tells me that this movie won't follow the original origin to a T. After all, Mads Mikkelsen is supposed to be playing the big bad. That being said, I don't think he's gonna be playing Dormammu just yet. You can only drop so much far-out mystical weirdness into one film, and I'd rather see Dormammu saved for a film down the line. But maybe, hear me out, Mikkelsen will play Nightmare, another of Doctor Strange's foes, who's this dream demon who's the sworn enemy of truth, justice, and REM cycles. Only time will tell, but in the meantime, you should make sure to read Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin's Doctor Strange: The Oath. It's a phenomenal introduction to the character, and only 5 issues long, so what do you have to lose? I mean, apart from however long it takes to read 5 issues of a comic, but come on, man, make time. But tell me, what do you hope to see in the Doctor Strange movie? Who do you think Mads Mikkelsen will play? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, give me a deeply strange thumbs up. That's all for today's show. Be sure to tune in next time when we talk about the true story of how a band of ragtag rebels came together to stop an Imperial superweapon powered by murdering adorable puppies in Rogue 101 Dalmatians. Until next time, keep on digging. Now let's open up the old mailbag, shall we? At AKA Patient 80 asks, what do you think would make a good movie from the 90s Image Comics catalog? I think the Max or Goon would be frontrunners. Easy. Astro City, particularly the Life in the Big City arc that was published by Image in the mid-90s. It's a real thoughtful examination of the superhero genre and incredibly well-rounded storytelling. At Marcus Hearer1 asks, buying some Timberland soon. Do I get them in black, tan, or stone? Help me, Dan Casey, you're my only hope. Oh, thanks, I'm happy to help. I'm glad you asked because look, I'm a fan of the classic wheat colorway because it looks fresh as hell, but here's the thing. Someone will scuff your Timberlands. It will happen. And for that reason, you should buy black. It's easier to hide the scuffs and black goes with everything. At Hall Lucier asks, what celebrity do you think you would turn into if you got hangry like in the Snickers commercial? Oh, great question, wow. This is something I've actually wondered about since time immemorial. I would probably turn into like 2 to 3 Danny DeVitos standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat because that's how I feel inside. I want to be honest with you guys. But tell me, who would your secret hangry alter ego be? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.